It was a typical Wednesday afternoon, and Emma had just finished her shift at the local bookstore. As she walked out onto the busy street, she noticed a quaint coffee shop across the road. With nothing else to do, she decided to go in and grab a cup of coffee. As she stood in line, Emma noticed a man sitting at a table by the window. He was tall and handsome, with a charming smile and piercing blue eyes. She couldn't help but feel drawn to him, and when he looked up and caught her eye, she blushed and looked away. When Emma got her coffee, she decided to sit down at the table next to the man by the window. They struck up a conversation and found they had a lot in common. They both loved books and movies, and they both enjoyed hiking and traveling. As the conversation continued, Emma began to feel a connection with the man. He was charming and funny, and she couldn't help but feel drawn to him. But as they talked, she noticed that he kept glancing at his phone. After a while, the man excused himself to take a call, leaving Emma alone at the table. As she waited for him to return, she noticed that his phone was left on the table, unlocked and displaying a text conversation. Curiosity getting the best of her, she glanced at the conversation and saw that it was with a woman named Sarah. Emma's heart sank as she read the text messages. It was clear that the man was in a relationship with Sarah and was trying to hide his meeting with Emma. She felt betrayed and angry, but at the same time, she couldn't help but feel a spark of temptation. When the man returned to the table, Emma found it hard to look at him. She knew he was cheating, and yet she couldn't deny the attraction she felt towards him. They continued to talk, but Emma felt a growing sense of guilt and shame. As they finished their conversation and said their goodbyes, the man asked for her phone number. Emma hesitated, torn between her desire for him and her moral code. In the end, she gave him her number, unable to resist the temptation. Over the next few days, Emma and the man exchanged texts and phone calls. They talked about everything from books to their dreams for the future. Emma knew she was in dangerous territory, but she couldn't help but feel alive and exhilarated. One day, the man asked Emma to meet him at a hotel. Emma knew what he wanted, and yet she couldn't say no. They had a passionate night together, and Emma knew that she had crossed a line she couldn't ever go back from. As time went on, Emma continued to see the man, even as he remained in a relationship with Sarah. She knew it was wrong, but she couldn't help herself. Eventually, though, Sarah found out about their affair, and the man ended things with Emma. Emma was left alone, consumed with guilt and regret. She had cheated, and she had been cheated on. It was a painful lesson, but one that she knew she needed to learn. From that day forward, Emma promised herself that she would never cheat again, no matter how strong the temptation. The day started off like any other for Emily. She woke up early, got dressed, and headed to work. She had been married to her husband, Jack, for 5 years now, and things had been going well. Or so she thought. That night, as they lay in bed, Emily noticed something strange on Jack's back. Scratches. Deep ones. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. Her mind raced with questions. Who had done this to him? Was he cheating on her? Emily couldn't sleep that night. She lay there in bed, staring at Jack's back, trying to make sense of it all. As the days went by, she started to notice other signs that something was off. Jack seemed distant, uninterested in their intimacy, and would often come home late from work. Emily couldn't take it anymore. She confronted Jack, demanding to know what was going on. At first, he denied everything. But eventually, he broke down and confessed. He had been seeing someone else. Emily was devastated. She couldn't believe that her husband had betrayed her in such a way. The trust she had placed in him was shattered, and she didn't know how to move forward. Over the next few months, Emily tried to make sense of what had happened. She went to therapy, talked to friends and family, and even considered leaving Jack. But she just couldn't bring herself to do it. She still loved him, despite everything. One day, while she was out running errands, Emily ran into a woman she had never seen before. The woman was beautiful, with long, blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. Emily felt a knot in her stomach as she realized who she was. The woman who had been with her husband. Emily confronted the woman, demanding answers. The woman was defensive at first, but eventually broke down and told Emily everything. She had been seeing Jack for months, meeting him at hotels and sneaking around behind Emily's back. Emily was overcome with emotion. She couldn't believe that Jack had been lying to her for so long. The pain was almost too much to bear. But as she listened to the woman's story, something inside of her clicked. She realized that Jack was not the man she thought he was. He was a liar, a cheater, and a manipulator. She deserved better than that. Emily made the difficult decision to leave Jack and start over. It wasn't easy, but Emily eventually moved on from the betrayal. She found love again, with someone who treated her with the respect and kindness she deserved. And although she would always carry the scars of her past, Emily knew that she had come out stronger on the other side. The scratches on Jack's back were a painful reminder of the betrayal that had occurred within their marriage. But they also served as a reminder that Emily was capable of surviving anything that life threw her way.